So, good evening, everyone. Today, my topic of presentation is automation testing using Cypress tool. So, let's first see what is automation testing. So, automation testing basically refers to a piece of code which we write, and then it acts or simulates like a user on any website. So, it's basically like a bot which replicates a real user on any website. And repetitive flows like login, etc., can be a part of automation suite. And the critical business test cases also can be added in automation suite. We can run these test cases multiple times in every sprint or even after every build, like a smoke test case, to check if any major flow is broken. So if we find any such thing like a major flow broken after any build, then we can really tell the developer that the build is unstable, and we can detect the bug in earlier stage itself. So that is what is automation testing. Cypress is one of the trending automation tool in the market right now, and it is written using JavaScript. So to work with Cypress, we need some basic knowledge of JavaScript. And some other automation tools, trending automation tool in the market are Selenium, which can be used with Java, C, Ruby, Python, or PHP. And some other tools are Protractor, APM, Playwright, and WebDriver.io. Let's see the features of Cypress. According to official documentation, Cypress enables us to write faster, easier, and more reliable tests. So it does it in such a way that since it was developed after Selenium, so it has taken care of a lot of problem which we used to face in Selenium. And it has many inbuilt methods and taking screenshot and video capabilities, which helps us to write the test cases faster, and it is more descriptive as well. Cypress is built on Node.js and come packed as an NPM module. So we can use jQuery methods also with Cypress commands. And we can easily debug also using cy.debug command. So it pauses the test in the real time, and we can check where the test is going wrong. One of the best feature of Cypress is automatic wait command. So it waits for the entire DOM to load or the element to be present before it performs any action. So it helps us to get the real result. I mean, it doesn't fail if the element is not present at that time. So the flakiness of the test cases is reduced. The next point is easy cross-browser testing. We can test our same code on different browsers like Chrome, Edge, Firefox, etc. And Cypress comes with built-in chai assertion, and the framework it supports is Mocha framework. Let's move to the architecture of Cypress. So Cypress works directly with the browser. There is nothing in the middle which communicates with the browser like Selenium. In Selenium, there is something called as driver, which communicates with the browser. But the entire structure of the architecture of the Cypress is different. It directly interacts with the browser. And Cypress also, it is installed locally, so it can tap into OS and record videos and take screenshots as well. Working of Cypress. So Cypress is built on JavaScript, and JavaScript is asynchronous by nature. So to make it work in synchronous manner is very important, because if it is asynchronous, it would execute the second command before we get the response of the first command, like how it is shown in this diagram. If that happens in our test case in automation, it would try to find the element or perform action on any element before the website is loaded, and we would get all the test case as failed. So we need to make the Cypress as synchronous. So they have taken care of it internally. For every method, they have internally implemented .then method, which resolves the promise, and we get the commands in such a way that Cypress engine, it enqueues the command in the browser, and once all the commands are queued one by one in sequential order, then it executes on its own. So that is how Cypress works in a synchronous manner, even though it uses JavaScript. Now, if I use console.log command in the middle of Cypress code, so console.log would be executed first in the developer tool. We can see that because JavaScript is asynchronous. But if console.log, if we resolve it using .then method, then it would work in a synchronous manner. And for that matter, if we use any command which is provided by a third-party library, then this .then method has to be implemented by us. And if we use any Cypress command, then they have taken care of its retryability also and the implementation also. Now, the drawbacks of Cypress. Cypress doesn't support multiple browser tabs. We can work on only one tab at a time, and it supports only JavaScript, whereas we know Selenium supports many programming languages, and we cannot run two browsers at the same time. So parallel testing we can't do using Cypress. Each test is bound to a single origin. So that means if I am working on a website with a domain name of sjinnovation.com, I can only navigate to the pages which are related to sjinnovation.com. That means I can go to SJ Innovation career page or about us. I cannot go to google.com in the middle of my test case because that is a different domain. And it doesn't support Safari and some other mobile application built on iOS and Android. So these are some few drawbacks of Cypress. Running Cypress. So we need to first install Node.js, VS Code, and Cypress. Then once we run the command Cypress run in our terminal, we get this folder structure created by default. So mainly these are the 4 folders which we get. The first folder is fixture, in which we store our test data which we want to pass. And the second is integration folder, in which we basically keep the code or we write our scripts in it. And in the plugin folder, we can put any external plugin which we need to use. Support, in which we can put our generic method or reusable method, and this can be used in our integration folder. We can import these this command.js, and we can use in integration. The video and screenshot folder is created once we run our test cases on Cypress dashboard, which we will see in upcoming slides. Writing our first script. So Cypress command starts with cy, and where what is yielded by the command establishes what other command can be called next. So describe and it come from Mocha framework. It are the basically test cases. One describe can have multiple test cases, that is multiple it can contain. .get cy.get, these are basically locators. The locators, as we know, are the backbone of any automation tool. Locators are basically a way to identify any element on any HTML element on any web page to perform any action. So Cypress, there are many different type of locators, but Cypress supports only CSS selector, and we can install any external plugin, one external plugin, after which it starts supporting XPath as well. And there are different methods like .click, .type, .clear, which are basically used to perform action on our web element. Once we open the Cypress and we run our spec file, this is how the Cypress runner looks while the test execution is going on. So this is the test status menu. We can see after the entire test is completed, we can see that the 4 test cases are passed, 2 are failed, and this is the total time it took for executing the entire spec file. Here we can see the various test cases which we have written. These are basically which we have written, and this is basically the describe. And here we can also see the assertion. If the assertion passes, it comes like this. If it fails, then that particular test case would fail. It would show us in red. And then here we can see the URL. Here we can see viewport sizing. This is also one of the feature which Cypress provides and Selenium doesn't. We can change the size of the screen using this, a simple command cy.viewport, and we can put 2 dimensions, and using that it would resize the screen while our test is executing. And here we can see the real-time execution, whatever action we are performing, we can see it happening in this area. Now, Cypress Dashboard. Cypress Dashboard is a cloud-hosted service that gives you access to recorded test cases. So it also helps us in capturing screenshot and videos. When we log in Cypress with our GitHub account, it gives us a unique key. So we need to run this command and append our key here. So when we run this in our terminal, it runs the script on Cypress dashboard. I'll show how Cypress dashboard looks like. This is how Cypress dashboard looks like. So it is free for 3 users right now, and we can run, I think, around 300 or 500 test cases for free. But if we need to share it for more than 3 people, then we need to pay a certain amount uh, uh, for it to be shared for more than 3 users. And similarly, they have plans to share it with more people, and the price is according to that. In this report, we can see the result of all the spec file execution. We can also filter the status also. I can only filter the failed test cases it would show me. And I can also see the details like the runtime environment. And I can also see the screenshot of the failed test case in the Cypress dashboard. This is the failed test case. And I can also see the video also. It records the video on its own. So this is the video of the test execution, which would be available for every spec file. Like that, we can see all the spec file, and this is a report which comes for the execution, and we can filter it for the amount of days which we want to put. We can filter it for 7 days or whatever the date range we want, and it would give us a good report. So this is basically Cypress dashboard. Now, if I compare Cypress with Selenium, then there are few difference, and the few major difference are, if I talk about language supported, then Cypress only supports JavaScript, whereas Selenium supports Java, Python, Ruby, PHP, etc. Browser supported, basically Cypress doesn't support Safari, whereas Selenium does support Safari. Setup complexity, Cypress is comparatively very easy to set up, and there are no additional dependencies required to be downloaded, whereas Selenium setup is comparatively little difficult or little complex because we need to install drivers and different dependencies. Framework, Cypress comes with built-in Mocha framework, the folder structure, which I have explained in the previous slide. Whereas for Selenium, we have to create our own folder structure, or based on the design pattern which we are implementing. For different specific programming language, it may be different. And it is recommended in Cypress to use the pre-made, the folder structure which they provide. So that is the only framework which we can use in Cypress. When to choose Cypress? When we need a single framework for component API, end-to-end, and visual accessibility and performance testing. When we need video recording capability for test execution, as we saw in our Cypress dashboard. Retry ability, as I told, that Cypress command comes with retry ability. When we need a single programming language across the development and front-end and automation. Since it comes with an inbuilt framework, we don't have to spend time to create a framework. Test runner, which provides time travel capabilities to go through individual step with before and after screenshot attached to debug failure. When we run any test case in test runner, there is 2 screenshots which are available when we perform any action. So if I perform click action, there would be 2 screenshots. One would be before and one would be after. We can see where it clicked and how the screen turned after performing the action. So that is the advantage of Cypress. If I talk about the trend for last 5 years in automation testing, this blue one is Cypress tool and the orange one is Selenium. So these are the 2 tools which have been trending in market right now. And these are widely used by almost all the companies and all the projects for automating regression and smoke test cases. The advantages of automation testing are many. Few of the advantages are, say, it saves time because it executes the script faster. As soon as the element is visible, it performs the action. So it saves a lot of time. It increases the productivity. Then the accuracy improvement, because there is no, it is less prone to human error. There is no chance of human error. So there is a lot of accuracy in our automation suites. And then ability to test on different platform. The same code which we write can be executed on different browsers and also on different test environment. The same code which I have written can be executed on beta staging and production live environment as well. The next advantage is early bug detection. We can run a test case after every build, and if there is some major break, then we can detect the bug earlier in our development life cycle or testing life cycle, and it would save us a lot of time. And it also helps us in fast development and delivery. This is the demo which I've prepared. So in the terminal, I've put the command npm run test. It would open the test runner. This is the test runner. These are the spec file. I'm running newandnow.spec.js. This is the test runner. These are basically the test cases which I have written, and homepage is the describe. So right now, this is the size I've given for the screen. The website is loading. So it would wait for the website to completely load. After loading the website, it asserted that 5 headers are present or not. And once it found the new and now header, it clicked on that. And then this page is loaded. It is still loading. Now in the second test case, it is going through all the tiles, that are 20 tiles. And for every element, it would verify that there is one image, one heading, one star rating, and one add to back button, and one wish list button. So it has done that for all the elements. That is why this is the assertion to have length 1. So all that is passed. So therefore it has moved to the next test case. Now here it has clicked on one product. It is verifying the image. It has changed the quantity to 6 and added to the cart. We can see it is added to the cart. The next test case is sort functionality. Here it is changing from best. It will click on the best seller drop down and change it to recommended first. And similarly, it will iterate through the entire list. And I've put the assertion here to verify something from the URL so that we know that the page is reloaded here. So like that, simply by using for loop or for each loop, we can do this. And it would do that for all the elements. Right now it has done for low to high, and for every iteration, it would check for the assertion to pass. Once the assertion is passed, it would move on the next, next index. So that test case is also passed. This is the refine functionality. It has refined, clicked on the one filter, that is this one, and it has worked. Now the second filter, it didn't pass. So that is how the test case, that is how the failed test case looks like. Now the last test case has also failed. So in Cypress, it is very nice that it gives us the reason also why the test case failed. Here it is giving us that a.page.to is not found. So that means our locator is incorrect. So we can go back to our script and modify and rerun this. So this was like a quick demo. And automation testing is very interesting, and we can do a lot of things. Some people use it for load testing.